And our next topic is critical because government is really not a construct outside of society. You and I make government. It's just labeling and function that makes government different from private sector. And so our next presentation will explore the public-private partnership approach to digitalization and digital inclusion. Let's welcome Michael Kwablah, Chief Technology Officer at Ascend Digital.
Good afternoon. All protocols observed. Okay, so let's go to the first slide. So, the next slide. So, Ascend Digital Solutions is a trusted partner to public institutions across Africa. We work in different countries, Nigeria, we are in Cote d'Ivoire, we are in Mali, and this is what we do. So we are also in Ghana here working with public institutions like GIFEC, like NITA. We'll go through it. We do this by having relationship or partnership arrangement with world-class telcos like Tech Mahindra. We work with Jio in India. We have Nokia. We have Radisys from South Africa. These organizations, they have center of excellences that we leverage on, all right? So most of the solutions that we deliver today, we work with all these international organizations to deliver them. We also have, when it comes to Ghana, we have decades, a lot of experience in working in a telecom environment. We have skilled telecom resource. We also have track record of building digital infrastructure. We'll go through some of them as I go along. Okay, the next slide. So these are some of the things that we do. We deliver fixed network services. We deliver wireless network. Actually, we also have both. We deliver fixed wireless access. All right. We also have digital platforms. We deliver and manage data centers. We also have cloud services that we manage, cybersecurity. And we do all this in collaboration with the government institutions to ensure that infrastructure that are delivered are providing the necessary services and the digital solutions. Let's go to the next slide. So I'll take one of them. For example, GIFEC. So today we are working with GIFEC in the rural telephony projects. All of us sitting in this room, I'm sure we are Kumasi, Accra, in the cities, main towns. The telcos are business entities that will invest in areas where they will get their returns. So if they're going to put a tower at the cost of $80,000, $100,000, they will make sure that they get their returns. Today, they are covering just about 83% of the population. Okay, so if you look at other communities across Ghana, this is what we're trying to do. So we see population, communities that are having 2,000 population. The plan is to cover about 86% of it. Then we move to 90%. We focus on communities that are about 1,000 to 2,000 inhabitants. Then we go to communities that are 500 to 1,000 inhabitants. This project is supposed to cover 3.4 million Ghanaians who today do not have access to telecom services. They don't have access to data. As we speak, we have finished about 1,010 of them. The remaining 1,006 will be completed, it's ongoing, will be completed by November this year. So this is what we are doing to make sure that everybody is brought to the digital economy that we have today. Let's go to the next slide. Ascend has a subsidiary called Smart Infraco. So this subsidiary is working with NITA. All right, let's go to the next slide. There's a partnership arrangement with NITA. And you know NITA today is an agency that is regulating the ICT space. NITA owns a world-class infrastructure. What we are bringing to board with NITA is that how is this infrastructure bringing value to NITA? Okay, we have real human resources that we are supporting it to manage this infrastructure. The next one too is we are commercializing the infrastructure, making sure that the value that we need as a people we get from this infrastructure. Let's go to the next slide. So, for example, if we take the data centers, just last month, the Accra data center was certified by Uptime Institution. Uptime Institute is a world-class organization that certifies data centers. We have a tier 3 data center, and I'm sure most of the people sitting here, you don't know, but you can spend some time, visit NITA, have a look at the infrastructure. You'll marvel that we have such infrastructure in Ghana. I think in West Africa, there's no institution that's having that infrastructure. It's using cooling towers. When you stand here, you can see infrastructure. It's a very good infrastructure, and it delivers a lot of services. It has a redundant data center, which is also tier 2 certified by Uptime in Kumasi. So in case services in Accra goes down, you have Kumasi to fall on. And this data center has all the, let me call it, cable station, landing stations. May1, Dolphin, Wax, all of them are terminating there. We have the internet exchange also at the data center. You know what happened? In March, when there was this break in communication, when there was a cut in the western coast of Ghana, you saw what happened to our internet service. We all struggled. But all customers that were with NITA had no issue. The reason was that at the NITA data center, there's a connectivity that goes straight to Nigeria on the eastern side. All right? The internet exchange itself had that connectivity through May1. And services were not affected. Everybody had service intact until they restored all the cable. So NITA has infrastructure that is really very good that we should all patronize and use. So look, we have a power redundancy at the data center. It has 2 substations serving the data center. So if one substation goes off, another one comes in. They have 2 huge generators, 2 MVA. If you are entering the Ministry of Communication, you see that infrastructure there. They have 2 different transformers. So hardly will services go off at the data center. We never have any issues when it comes to availability of services. And we deliver rack co-locations, virtual private server, web hosting, every services that you need in a data center, you have it. One thing that is also critical is that these services are protected. We have a DDoS infrastructure that prevents denial of services. We have a SOC, Security Operations Center, that is run 24/7. They monitor every service that is running at the data center. So when they see any risk, they see any threats, they are able to detect these threats and avert them. Or they advise the institutions, we've seen this attack, we've seen this, can you change this? We'll help you to change that. And that's what we are doing today with NITA to ensure that services at the data center are running efficiently. And one thing that I'll mention here is that all the services that today NITA is delivering, all clients are having service level agreements signed. When there are issues, within 4 hours, 3 hours, and it's not necessarily having an SLA, but there are penalties. When we go beyond the SLA, there are service credit that we are supposed to pay. So when your service go off and it's taking a long time, we will make sure that we get a team available to resolve the issues. We also have a NOC and a contact center that is run 24/7. So any escalations that our customers or our users or clients are having, they call the contact center. The contact center will escalate the issue to the NOC. Trouble tickets are raised for engineers to resolve them. And these trouble tickets are tracked to make sure that SLAs are met. So this is what we are doing with NITA to ensure that the infrastructure is managed properly. Thank you. Okay, this is one of the infrastructure we have for NITA. It's the Eastern Corridor. It runs from Accra through Somenya, Ho, Kpando, Jasikan, Tamale, to Boko, actually Kulungugu, I mean, at the border of Burkina Faso, and deliver services to users who want to deliver services in Burkina Faso. One interesting thing about this infrastructure is that in 2021, this infrastructure had deteriorated. You know, a lot of fiber cuts, construction activities, road construction, destroying the fiber. It is a 48 core. So let me make it simple terms. You have a bus that has 48 seats. People can sit in that bus. In 2020, only 2 of the seats in the bus were working. So we need to work with NITA, make sure that we rectify, we change the whole infrastructure. We rectified it. Today, we have all the 48 seats working. Number 2, the capacity on that infrastructure in 2020 was just 1 gig capacity. So if MTN comes, Telecel comes, they want capacity, you cannot give them more than 1 gig. 2022, it was increased to 10 gig. 2024, by May this year, it has increased to 100 gig capacity. All right? So we see MTN, we see Telecel, we see AT, all of them relying on that infrastructure to deliver services in the north. When there's a cut, you see a lot of issues with their services up north. What we are doing today is that we have managed field partners who are patrolling the lanes. So when they see any threat, they see any risk, they engage us, they will proactively relocate the infrastructure so that it doesn't, even though we are doing that, we see some of the road constructors who are just, destroying infrastructure. So we are working with NITA, Ministry of Communication, Ghana Highways Authority to assist us, and also our own man, the telecom chamber, to make sure that such contractors are really dealt with. Okay, we engage them, and some of the expenses involved are quite high. You know, we have to relocate a whole stretch of ducts, build new chambers, install new cables. That's very expensive, and it's a toll not only on us, all the telcos, MTN, Telecel, all of them go through it. But we are trying our best to make sure that we minimize the impact. Okay, we know NITA also have this LTE, like 4G. We use this to deliver fixed wireless access. So in communities or in areas where the fiber is not there, we use the LTE to deliver the service. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so there's also this company called Digital Infrastructure Ventures. It's a partnership arrangement with AT, all right, Airtel Tigo. Let's go to the next slide. So what we've done is that we have an arrangement with Airtel Tigo. They have a backbone capacity that delivers service across the whole country. Then we also have the Eastern Corridor. Then we have partnership arrangement with other telcos in terms of fiber. So we have built an infrastructure. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, that is serving about 951 state agencies across the whole country. Let's go to the next slide. The project was completed in April this year, 2024. So this is what is delivering. And you can see, we are making use of the 2 data centers that NITA is having, Kumasi and Accra. And this is a huge capacity, 200 gig capacity, going to both Accra and Kumasi. And we are delivering this service to all regional hospitals, district hospitals, GIFMES, metro, municipal assemblies, post offices, police stations. And you can see the capacity that we are delivering. One interesting thing about this solution is that it is, we call it software defined. It means it's able to manage how to route the traffic, okay, on it. The other thing is that it provides wide area networking. So for police or any other institutions, if they want to manage the data that they want to use among themselves, this solution allows us to make sure that we give that bandwidth or that capacity to only the police. Okay, so it's a huge infrastructure. Let's go to the next slide. So you see, across the whole country, you can see what has been built. You see from the eastern side, the eastern corridor, we also built almost 5,000 kilometers of fiber on the western side, and you see the middle rings, and it is ringed. So before this project, the eastern corridor was standing alone. When there's a cut, all services are off. But we have linked the two, all right? And this infrastructure is something that a lot of people don't know it exists. And it is one of the infrastructure that exists. That's why I'm sure we'll go to my subsequent slide. The NCA, the regulator, Ministry of Communication, were talking about being able to deliver 5G maybe in September, October, because this infrastructure has been laid, it's been built with a huge capacity among the cities, all right, or the towns in Ghana. So my next slide is on the next gen infraco. Hello, okay. So we are partner to this. ASEN is a partner to this infrastructure company. All the telcos, MTN, AT, Telecel are also partners. We also have other partners. And this is what we are doing. Next slide. So what we are doing is that, it's a bit clumsy, but I'm sure I'll make it quite simple. So what we are building is that we are building a shared infrastructure where the infrastructure is built. Any telco, any ISP that want to deliver 4G services, for example, MTN or AT in Accra, Accra Metro, if they are experiencing congestion in their network, all what we can do is that, look, you have this available infrastructure with a huge capacity. Just offload your traffic onto that infrastructure so that your user experience, customers will have a very good internet service. The next thing is, if there are areas where you need coverage, we provide infrastructure. You can let your users get coverage using this infrastructure. What it's doing is that it minimizes the capital investments that the MNOs or the telcos need to invest in. The same situation with 5G. If there are areas where there's 5G infrastructure, all what this infrastructure does is that it will enable the telcos customers also have 5G. So it's an arrangement that we are doing with all of them, and it's pretty good infrastructure solution for all of us. And I'm sure in the next couple of months, we will all see what has been done. And this is capable, we are capable of doing this because of the previous slide that I shared. The baseline infrastructure has been laid across the whole country with huge capacity that can take up the traffic that's coming. All right, let's go to the next slide. So in conclusion, it's through our collective efforts that we can achieve our shared of a digital inclusive in Ghana together by embracing, all right, public-private partnership approach. We are not just building infrastructure. It's not just the infrastructure that is there, but what we are doing, that we are creating a future where every Ghanaian, everybody, all of us can thrive in a digital age. Thank you very much.
I'm not particularly impressed that only 7.5 people applauded at the end. Yeah. Thank you.